Republican outrage at what they have perceived as the latest outrages against their candidates and their families, you would think there might be some places GOP water carriers might not go. You'd be wrong. Again. Our third story in the countdown. Now it is Barack Obama and his gravely ill grandmother sideswiped by the former chairman of the rabid right-wing attack group Freedom's Watch. It was live on this network today. Asked by our David Schuster about the Sarah Palin wardrobe malfunction, Brad Blakeman decided to expose a sick and diseased corner of his own psyche, having compared Obama's spending already to that of a, quote, drunken sailor, another inopportune phrase, at a time he reprimanded when, quote, we should be watching our funds. The laughter you will hear from Mr. Schuster is a mix of disbelief and disgust.
If it's so important not to be spending money like a drunken sailor, and I haven't asked you this yet, but I'm curious to hear your view of the amount of money, $150,000 that was spent on Sarah Palin's clothes at high-end stores like Saks and Neiman. I don't even think you shop at Saks and Neiman.
No, I don't. But let me tell you this. You know what the outrage is today? Is Barack Obama is taking a 767 campaign plane to go visit Grandma. Forget about the energy that is wasted. What about the hundreds of thousands of dollars to take a private trip when this guy should be humping his bags on a commercial plane or taking a smaller plane? Taking a 767 of campaign money from people who could least afford it is more of an outrage, in my opinion.
Let's bring in Sam Seder, co-host of the Air America show. Marin Seder. Good evening, Sam.
Thanks, Keith. How are you?
Well, I thought I was immune to being outraged by Republicans who take tax like that. But to mock Obama's trip to see his ailing grandmother? Is that possible? Did I actually hear that?
I mean, you know, that was exactly my reaction. I saw the thing live, and I had my TV behind me, and I thought, this is not possibly someone seriously saying this. I mean, I don't know whether or not to be offended by the stunning insensitivity or just the stunning stupidity of this guy. I mean, you're talking about raising the specter of Palin going out, spending $150,000 on her wardrobe, buying her 7-year-old kid a Louis Vuitton bag, and somehow comparing this in the heat of a campaign to visiting your gravely ill grandmother. It's astonishing. And then you add into that mix the story that didn't get that much play about Palin bringing her kids on trips and having the state of Alaska pay for her kids to go on trips and stay in luxury hotels when the Alaska law clearly says that unless they're there on official business, they have no business being paid for by the state. It's just bizarre.
In the contempt in this, to that phrase, to go see grandma, as if, Obama was out there shopping for clothes at Neiman Marcus. I mean, does anybody in the Republican Party connect the dots in this way, that this is the kind of stuff that leads to the mess that they're in right now?
See, I think that's exactly the point. When I heard this guy say this, Blakeman say this, it immediately reminded me of that moment in the last debate where John McCain sort of sneered about the health of the mother. And I just thought, in what planet are these people living? I mean, ultimately, this is what we want from our politicians, them to care about their family members, care about their mothers, care about their daughters, care about their sisters. And this idea that this is going to somehow, I think it just simply shows that this Republican Party and the people who are willing now to come out and be a surrogate for it at this point, they are completely out of touch with what American values are.
But they have, one thing they're in touch with is this idea of fake umbrage. I mean, what would have happened if the roles were reversed and this was some mid-level Democrat making a remark like this about McCain going to see his mother, Palin going to see her parents, anybody in that party going, or any kind of family emergency involving anybody connected to the Republican campaign? Well,
of course, it would be an 8-day story, and every single Republican going out there would be talking that Barack Obama doesn't have family values, and this is exactly why you can't trust him, and this notion that somehow Democrats could attack people for loving their family. I mean, they seem to have completely lost their rudder in some way. It's almost like there should be a commissioner of surrogates who should be looking into whether or not a guy like Blakeman is actually, somehow betting against McCain to win. I mean, there's really no other explanation to come out and criticize someone for visiting their ill grandmother.
Yeah, he's throwing the election because he bought 100 contracts on in trade.
Exactly, that was exactly
Obama.
What I thought.
Well, you know what? That would be the most rational explanation I've heard for this lunatic saying this despicable thing so far today. So I'm giving you credit for that at least.
I appreciate that.
Sam Seder of Air America Radio. It's always a pleasure, Sam. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Keith.